We're talking some NBA playoffs. Boogie and I would just talk NBA playoffs for the next hour.
Yeah, we could do it.
You guys go with that? We'll just
Hey, I'm here for the ride.
Y'all were talking about Jimmy Butler. Are you Jimmy Butler fan, Boogie?
I am. That playoff Jimmy, we were just saying, is a different person.
Playoff Jimmy's unbelievable.
But here's the problem. I was reading some stuff about him being a Georgia fan. Did you know this? You have a look on your face like I might be retracting my fandom.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't know that at all, and that kind of completely changed my
Well, doesn't that make sense since Jimmy went to Marquette? Yeah. Yeah, that school in Wisconsin. Easy connection to Georgia.
Yeah.
He's a front runner, it sounds like.
When Georgia beat Ohio State in the playoff, he was like on social media, like celebrating and stuff. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. Well, going back to the question earlier, I do not think I'm a Jimmy Butler. I
Yo, I just watched his opinion change right in front of my face
Yes,
while I was on air.
Yeah.
Just complete 180.
The facial expression of his
Yeah.
thoughts on Jimmy Butler, 180.
Yeah, no, I can't go for that one. I cannot.
Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin Jimmy Butler for you, but
No, it's fine. It's fine. Another one bites the dust.
Boogie didn't know he was going to have a life-changing experience when he walked into this studio. But, hey, if you're a Georgia fan now and you have no ties to Georgia, then that puts you, in my opinion, right in the category of the people who are like Yankees, Cowboys, and then they're like UNC but basketball only fans. You're like,
Yeah,
how'd you pick those schools?
Yeah, something doesn't fit. Something doesn't add up.
Yeah, so anyway, y'all probably could talk NBA for the next 2 hours.
We're still trying to figure out why at no point Milwaukee put Giannis on Jimmy, because Drew Holiday couldn't guard Jimmy to save his life. And Giannis has been like the 15-time player of the year, defensive player of the year. At some point, you would think.
Yeah, I have no clue what the game plan was.
I don't think anybody else did either,
Yeah.
to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
So, Boogie, did you see the question that Giannis got asked that's been replayed 1,000 times?
Was it the
The question about failure?
Yes, sir. I did. I actually just watched that before I came in here.
How would you have answered that if Wes asked you at a press conference? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like that was a really good answer as to what he said. I feel like it's kind of hard because he's asking the interviewer, like, oh, how would you feel if, I mean, it's kind of hard to put him in that same scenario. But what he was saying was so true. Every season you might not end how you want it to end, but it doesn't mean it's a failure. It's just steps. Like you said, it's steps to playing, it's steps to sports. It's never really a failure unless you don't gain anything from it, you don't learn from it. So I think he was spot on.
Have you ever been offended or ticked off from a question in a press conference or like media setting before?
No, I haven't been offended or anything, just because the way I see it is they're just asking me questions. They want to know my view or idea of, whatever they're asking. So I really take it lightly and just try and answer honestly. Just be honest.
Now, has Chris and Wes ever offended you? I think that's the big question.
No.
Of course not.
Yeah. Never that.
Good answer. But no, I do. I feel like, so not maybe so much in college athletics, but certainly professional athletics. There's sometimes this like media versus athlete, and I feel like you kind of see both sides though, because for one, the media person, and maybe I'm coming from a media perspective, they're just trying to do their job. Now, there's a respectful way to ask a question and a not so respectful way. But then the other side is that, I mean, these guys are making multi millions of dollars to answer questions about a game. So it's kind of like, if you get too offended, if it is about the game itself and it's not a personal attack, I'm kind of like, you know what? Just kind of answer the question, because you're paid. Like, your bank account looks very different than all the rest of us to go play a game. What do you think about kind of the both sides of that, being an athlete but being someone who is kind of dialed in kind of on the media side too, I feel like?
Yeah, no, that I think it is definitely like, it kind of all depends on the situation, because I've seen some where the media, I guess, was just wrong. Like, I forgot who it was, but they came in the football locker room after the guy had like a game-losing play, and they already had some, I guess, beef between previous interviews. Then they kind of just tried to stir him up, stuff like that, if I'm the dude, just had an awful play, whatever, you already know how I feel. I feel worse than anybody else feels, and I'm the reason something bad happens. So those moments I truly get, but I also understand it's like you're getting paid all this money. It's kind of just part of the game, part of the business. And so, like, as a player, I feel like I understand that those questions that are kind of like, oh, I don't want to answer that. That's not a good question. It's also at the point, like, you know, some people in the media are trying to ask stuff that is kind of not supposed to be asked. They're trying to get a good headline answer, stuff like that. And so that's just something you have to be prepared for when you're about to get interviewed or something like that.
Yeah, Terry is notorious for that.
Oh, constantly. I do that all the time.
Trying to get that soundbite.
I'm thinking of one right now to try to get to you before 11. Yeah, we're working on one here for you there, Boogie.
No, we're not.
Exactly. You're getting three guys who that's never going to happen.
Never going to happen. Okay, so, but speaking of basketball, though, Wes, who was it that we had in here recently? We have an update for Boogie on the whole starting five thing. So we now have 2 football players that have recused themselves, that did not pick themselves for their own basketball team. Wow. It's a rare thing, but Luke Doty was one. Who was the other one?
Okay.
It was Juice.
Juice?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, Juice said he was not a hooper.
Juice said he was going to be the GM.
The GM.
He picked a team. He did pick a team.
See, I can see Luke. I don't know if I've ever seen him play basketball. Juice, I'm surprised he said that, only because all he does is compete, which is awesome. Like, but he's always trying to win something. He's always trying to compete. So I'm surprised he said that. But thinking about it, I've never seen him play basketball.
Well, it was like a next level. It was like a chess move though, because he was like, I want to win, so I'm not playing myself.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
it's like I'm sitting out.
That
he's like,
sounds about right.
He's like, all my teammates will be mad at me, and he kept talking about. Apparently, he can't shoot very well, from what he said.
I mean, you
Y'all
said
don't
it,
tell
Chris.
Juice I said that.
You
Yeah.
said it.
Yeah.
I
don't think he said it quite that way, but
he said I'm gonna be missing all those shots.
Okay.
So
I just love how Boogie put the entire defensive line on his basketball team.
My squad, I will go against anybody, and I
bruised.
believe that. That's the thing. Yeah, I truly believe that.
So everybody we ask has like their team is skewed towards their position group. I've noticed. So like the quarterbacks have got a bunch of small dudes running out there. You've got Nick Barrett with you on the field, I think. So man, if we could ever make these games actually happen, I bet people would pay money to come watch
the 107.5 athlete
celebrity
basketball tournament.
Yes, charity
Gamecock football basketball tournament.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
We
I'm
could
sure
do that.
Beams would love that.
Oh, he'd sign off.
Bunch of rolled ankles.
Get injured.
He's going through the scholarship right now. Is there something in here that we can ban this thing? What can we do?
I would need like a 6-man though for the subs because I got a big team.
Yes.
I don't know if our team will be able to run up and down as much as those small guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Spencer said. He was talking about something, and he was like, blah, 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 except for the offensive line because they would get tired. I was like, Spencer. You could just calling those guys out.
Rashawn?
Yeah.
That's one of those guys who I did miss out on my list. I wish Rashawn Lee is definitely somebody I would have put in.
But there's your 6 man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would have
another big man though.
Yeah, there's another big though.
But I tell you, Boogie, one thing that does slow the game down to get your breath is when you accidentally foul people.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
No easy buckets.
That's
one
right.
thing I believe. There are no easy points.
Oh man. So let's take it back to football. Boogie, spring ball is over. What are you doing right now? I know you got exams. Fans always like to know, what does the day-to-day life of a football player look like during a particular time. You said you got, 2 exams left?
Yes, sir. 2 exams left. Probably take those today, and then.
What are we doing for May? That's the one we were talking off air. That's the 1 month football players get to reset. How important is it to reset?
Yeah, I think mentally, May is a huge month. A lot of guys get to go see their family, get to do things that you don't usually get to do. But for me, May is I'm a big May workout guy. So this week I'm off. I'm finishing exams. I'm doing whatever I got to do. But May, I really like to get my body right because when we come in, Luke Day he's gonna make it as hard as possible. and I don't want to be blindsided by a workout. I like to come into May have everything easy, get my mind right for the season. I'm a big May workout guy, so get my body right as much as possible in May, but also take a little trips here and there. Still have my free time, do what I want to do, but definitely get my body right in May.
And we're intensely talking about basketball and guys who can hoop on the Gamecock football team. And all I'm hearing about is like guys 280, 290, 300 that are just breaking ankles, which is unfair in every way, shape, or form. That's just not right.
Boogie's whole team is big men.
100%. I mean, if you have a big man who can dribble the ball, shoot the ball, what more do you need? These little guys, they won't be able to do it. We cover a lot of ground, too. I mean, defense, I'll take the best guy on the court. He's done. That's how I feel. The best hooper on the team, I'll guard him. He's not scoring. And then, if they don't have their best player, it's done. It's done.
Good strategy.
Yeah, I'm believe it.
I'm saying this is not just him talking just to talk and have fun.
Yeah.
He's serious.
No,
He's like,
I believe
I
him
will take the
1,000%.
best offensive player out on the other team.
Yeah, 100%.
And the other four cats have to beat us because that dude's not beating us.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Who is the best lacrosse player on the Gamecock football team?
I feel like I really don't have to think about it because that is me 100%. Not even close.
Did you ever consider like completely just saying, you know what, I'm gonna go play lacrosse in college? Was that ever like a little thought? You've always, every time I've talked to you, I feel like lacrosse has been mentioned at some point. That would have been an outside the box decision. But
the last time I was like, I might do lacrosse, I think it was probably 5th grade. 5th grade, I had that thought like, maybe lacrosse. But since then, nah.
Yeah.
I always wish I could still play lacrosse in some way, but just to show everybody, lacrosse.
Does anyone else on the Gamecock football team play lacrosse besides you?
Oof. Maybe 1 or 2 guys.
That's a no. It sounds like.
I do not think so. I'm sure. Well, yeah, I know a couple guys like played for a year or 2 or played a little bit, but I don't think any of them seriously played.
I picked up like at the they have this really cool thing, like this championship thing in Dallas for the women's Final Four, and they had all these things like you could kick a soccer ball, throw a baseball, see how fast you could throw it, and they had a lacrosse stick and ball, and so that was honestly the first time I remember ever picking it up. It's kind of hard, like to aim it.
Yeah,
and that's without somebody like you trying to prevent me from shooting.
Yes, sir.
The ball itself is made out of concrete. I mean, the ball is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I used to play goalie way back when.
You played goalie? You were a wild man.
I played goalie, attack, face-off, defense. I played everything in lacrosse at one point. And when you're sitting there in that goal and the ball is flying at you, it's like a fight or flight reaction. You can either try and stop it, you kind of move out the way a little bit. It's interesting.
I want to ask about some of these guys that you've been talking about basketball, but they are football players. So a couple questions from spring practice. From what the bit that we did see, the bits and pieces we saw some of the bigger guys move outside a little bit. We know Tonka's going to do that when he comes back some. He can play either. We saw TJ Sanders do that some. And we saw some 3-man fronts. I know last year y'all ran some 5-man fronts. You'll still run your 4s. But what have been your thoughts on what you guys did this spring, like from a schematic standpoint? Don't give too much away. Don't have Clayton White call in and get mad at us.
Yes,
but what have been your thoughts on how you've structured the fronts?
I really like it. I think it's kind of showing how many things we're able to do and how many schemes and fronts and everything that the team can do and make it work. I think it adds a lot of versatility to the defense, to the whole team. When we can come up, we can have a 5-man front, next play run a 3-man front. We can really, like the skill set we have, the type of guys we have, we can kind of do anything right now. So I think it adds a lot of versatility and improvements to the team.
Have you seen Coach White kind of start to layer some things on? It seems like when he first got here, it was more about let's get everybody comfortable with the base scheme and make sure we're playing fast, make sure everybody is very comfortable. And now it just feels like that allows you, once some guys have been in the program for a while, to start to kind of add on a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is going to be year 3 in the defense, and just a lot of the guys. We have had a lot of young guys playing, older guys who are starting to step in like that old, I guess, vet role. We're all coming up. We know the defense, and so you can just do so much more. It flows a lot easier. There's a lot better communication because we all know, this play we have that. We don't have to do too much talking. It's a lot faster and it flows.
Are you an older guy now? Are you a
Yeah,
vet?
I am a vet. I'm a vet. Crazy to say, but yes, sir.
Hard to believe. I told Boogie, I feel like we were just sitting at a camp talking about South Carolina, talking about Texas.
Yeah.
I think you had just visited out there or something. Maybe you
Yeah.
were wearing a Texas shirt.
Yes, sir.
You were a junior in high school. Now you're a junior in college. I mean, has it just flown by for you?
Oh, it has. It has flown by in a good way. I've had a lot of great experiences, a lot of things to learn off of. But everybody always says time flies. Don't take it for granted. And trust me, I believed every person who told me. So I definitely didn't take any for granted. But it flies.
So one of the guys that y'all are losing that we'll hear his name called this weekend is Zach Pickens. And I was going back for research purposes. I was writing something on Zach for this weekend. And I didn't realize, or I'd forgotten, how many awards he won last year, internally at the banquet.
Yeah.
He won the Team Captain Award, Rex Enright, Most Outstanding Senior, Steve Wadiak Team MVP Award, and the Defensive MVP. They made the academic honor roll. So he took home a lot of stuff. And he's been hanging around. Like some guys, they go prepare for the NFL, and you don't see them, for a long time. Zach's, in the practice huddle still, it seems like, during spring ball. But he was, a really big leader, I think, for this team. Now, as a veteran, do you feel like it's your job to take a little bit more of that role?
Definitely. Zach, he led a great path. He kind of showed the way, what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done. Just so many things. And so whatever I noticed that is gone because of Zach, I definitely try and fill in the spaces or do stuff differently, but I know will still work, stuff like that. But Zach was definitely a great leader, captain, brother, friend. I still talk to him almost every day. And so he just left a great foundation, and so many things can be built off because of him. So it was great.
You gonna watch the draft?
100%. Oh yeah.
Do you have so I think we know obviously Zach's gonna get picked somewhere. Cam will get picked.
Mm-hmm.
Darius will get picked. There's some other guys. I think we're gonna be kind of waiting to see what happens.
Yes,
But
sir.
are you hoping for any particular teams for any of these guys? Are you just hoping for the best for your teammates? From what perspective do you watch the NFL draft as a teammate of some of these guys?
I think this year I will definitely watch the NFL draft a lot thoroughly.
Mhm.
Some years you watch the first 3 rounds, then it's like, okay, I'll check updates on my phone. This year I think I might be tuned in for a whole lot of that draft just to see all those guys, hopefully get that opportunity. And honestly, for teams-wise, I just hope they go to a team they want to go to, I feel like we all have different ideas of what's good, where they want to go, where they don't. So as long as they go somewhere they want to, I think that'd be great.
And I guess what would that be like to just watch them fulfill a dream getting drafted and maybe even thinking about yourself being in their shoes, here soon?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest goals for every player is get drafted. And so to see those guys who, your brothers you were just with a couple months ago have that opportunity, it's one of the best feelings. You're just so happy for them. You know how hard they've all worked. And so seeing that will be crazy, especially just me personally, seeing Zach, Javon, people like that, when they go, I'm going to be ecstatic.
All right, we're betting money on the Garnet Trust Hour. Laying money that I don't even have.
$1 million has
I
been
threw
laid
$1 million.
down.
And you know what? I'm only about $999,998 short of that in my savings account.
Well, you
Just a
made
little
the
short.
bet, so now you have to.
Yeah,
live with it.
now I'm in
We'll
it.
see.
Now I'm in it. We're going to get into some NFL draft with Boogie and some other things as well. Boogie Huntley with us on the Garnet Trust Hour. Wes and Chris also here. David Darrell on the controls. Terry Ford hanging in for Tyler here on 107.5 The Game.
All right, so I've got, speaking of bets, Wes and I made one yesterday, Boogie, so you can weigh in on this. You don't have to bet. You can just answer it. So we didn't bet $1 million, but we bet Firehouse subs. one Firehouse sub. So it cost us sub of the day $7.99. So that's not too bad.
$8 bet.
$8 bet. All right, Cam Smith, who you played with for several years.
Hey, don't tell him who has which side of
No,
this.
no.
Unbiased answer.
All right, so Cam can, obviously, in college, he could play inside, he could play outside. In the NFL, do you like Cam Smith as a nickel or an outside corner better, and why?
And why you think about that, they just showed on ESPN2 that he, based on split of reps, is basically the most versatile guy of the top prospects.
Boom.
Nickel, corner, and he even took some snaps back sort of in a safety role.
That's kind of what I was going to say. I didn't know that they did that whole thing that he was the most versatile guy, but I don't know if I could give a better side to one. I mean, I've seen Cam kind of almost do it all, and he has the ability to do it all. Like, that's one thing about Cam is I feel like Cam is one of those guys where it's like, hey, Cam, we need you to do this. He can step up to the role, and he can kind of dominate at that. So, honestly, I guess that's just going to have to be a team kind of thing, what a team needs more. But I feel like he can really do it all. I mean, he has a speed to cover anybody, but he can also come down and tackle. He's done it before a lot of times. He's great on the ball. So I feel like that's really just going to be like, okay, we need, I don't know who's he's projected to get picked up by, but I guess that's just going to be whatever they need there. That's what they're going to plug him in at.
And it may change week to week, too, because we
Yeah.
saw that. So he kind of started out the year playing a lot of nickel.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think y'all slid him out to the outside. But I think, obviously, the Tennessee game, the offense was huge in winning that game. But the decision to slide Cam back to nickel and say, go shut down Jalen Hyatt, and I imagine challenge him a little bit.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, this is the best receiver in the league.
Yeah.
What do you have? That
Yeah.
partially won that game, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got to think Cam Smith is – and that's the thing, Jalen Hyatt, everybody, you hear Jalen Hyatt, you think, hey, this is a big play kind of guy, super fast, crazy. Well, Cam, he's going to run with you.
Mm-hmm.
Cam can run with you, and he did that. Cam did what he had to do, and we had a great game because of it. So he can do it all.
It looks like, according to PFF, that, to your point, Wes, in the Tennessee game, Cam played 80 snaps at slot corner out of 90
he was
snaps.
following
He was
Hyatt
following
the whole
Jalen Hyatt
way.
all over
Yeah.
his
Followed
field.
him
Yeah.
all around. Clemson game, actually, too. He played 61 snaps, so they kind of stuck with that the last two games. So that's fascinating.
And it worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked.
It did work. That seemed to help with the
Yeah.
outcome of things. All right, so are we done with the Cam Smith discussion, Wes? Because I have a completely unrelated draft question.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Who are you taking number one, Boogie, if you're Carolina Panthers?
If I'm the Carolina Panthers, I will probably draft Zach Pickens. No.
I was about to say, can't be a
not expecting
teammate.
that.
No, yeah. As much as I would love to see that.
That'd be
I-
awesome.
honestly,
Great answer.
Yeah, I would probably go. I go Bryce.
Yeah.
I would go.
That's who
Bryce
I'm on.
Young. I think he is very good. I think the first time, because I played against him in, what was it, the Adidas All-American game senior year, and I'll never forget. I was rushing. I had a rip in there. I was about to jump through with my left arm, my back arm, and I'm like, okay, I got a sack. It's gonna be great, and I do it, and it's like I blink, and he's like 15 yards down the field, and it was just so quick. Like the second he felt a little pressure, I think he ran right through that big gap. He just felt it, boom, out of there, 15-yard gain. And after I saw that, it was like his just feeling, his sense in the pocket. I was like, whoa. And then he went out there, did what he did in Bama, and I just think he's a great quarterback. I don't think, there's that whole 5'11",
Yeah.
I don't know how tall he is, but I don't know. There's some players who they come around no matter their size, I guess. They're still great, and I think he's one of them.
Well,
So-
three of us think that in here.
Yeah.
One of us.
Oh, me? I mean, I'm saying ever since I watched C.J. Stroud rip Georgia's defense,
Yeah.
He did rip Georgia's defense.
that elevated him. And I don't care about this S2 that I had never even known was a thing until the last 2 weeks. And I feel like teams are definitely leaking stuff out that
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
is not
Oh,
even
yeah.
true.
It's like,
Like-
the team that wants to take him is leaking that
I
out.
think
yeah.
Indy. I think Indy is the
100%.
team that's leaking it out because Indy'd love to see C.J. Stroud fall to 4.
Yeah.
Probably.
The draft is dirty, man.
Oh,
It
Like,
is.
It is dirty.
It is.
yes.
And so the latest mocks I have seen, like I feel like at one point you had like the 4 quarterbacks going all the first 4 picks. And now you have several of these guys, or several mocks have like 2 of the quarterbacks falling all the way back to like 10 and 11.
Yeah.
So there was all this hype at one point for, Anthony Richardson is moving way up. Will Levis is moving way up. And now I feel like they've kind of fallen back to earth, maybe to where they were initially. Like I feel like Stroud and Bryce Young are kind of the 2 that are way up there.
You even had Will Levis's agents, I suspect, posting on Reddit that Will Levis was telling people that he was going to be drafted by the Panthers number
Yeah.
1.
The
I mean, it's just
anonymous
gotten-
guy
it's-
on
yeah, It's
Reddit?
just gotten stupid. And, like, it affects
It
the
changed
Vegas
the
lines.
odds.
It changed the odds.
That's what shocked me.
a Reddit post.
Was the Reddit post, the anonymous Reddit post, took Will Levis's odds from 40-1 to 4-1.
I know. And
was
it's
like-
weird because, like, Wes and I can write something on Gamecock Central, definitely doesn't affect the line in Vegas.
You don't think?
When we make our game predictions, like the Tennessee game last year. Whoops, sorry, Boogie. We
None
didn't
of
pick-
us picked.
Y'all had just played Florida though.
Yeah,
to be
we
to be
did.
fair,
Can I ask
Crazy
you
time.
really quick, after that Florida game, when you first get back together, you take your time off after the game, obviously, and you come back, what was the message from the coaching staff? Because that game, that felt like the low point if you're a fan watching South Carolina last year. And then you got Tennessee and Clemson coming up. 2 big dogs who were trying to make a statement to get in the playoff. And you guys just, had a tough time in Gainesville. What was the message coming back?
Yeah. Honestly, I tried to somewhat forget so much of that game, or not even forget, but just get that out of my head. That's a rough game to I guess go through. But one thing I love about Coach White, he's really good at, is kind of just stuff like that happens. It's over. It's done. You can't do anything about it. Let's lock in on the next. We learn, we go, we watch the tape, do our corrections, do everything we can to learn from it. But once it's done, it's done. We don't need to talk about it. It's over. We were all there. We all experienced it. We all know what happened. The more you have all those negative thoughts, the more you dwell on a bad game, it's just going to distract you from the next game and what's coming. So just, let's focus on the next. I think Tennessee, let's just get out of there and let's go ball.
It's like flush and move on.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
so y'all played one, scheduled to play 2 of these top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL. You only got to play 1, Anthony Richardson, in that Florida game. Didn't get to play Will Levis at Kentucky. He was out that game. This will be the most controversial thing I ask you. We were joking about that at the beginning.
But played him the year before.
Played him
Right,
the year
yeah.
before. Not last year, but the year
Yeah.
before. What are your thoughts on Will Levis, his pro prospects?
Ooh, be careful, Boogie. This is one of those questions we were talking about earlier. Chris trying to set you up.
No. Will Levis is done at Kentucky.
I think Will Levis, he has a great frame. He got the NFL frame. He has some athleticism to him. And those are all things I think scouts want to see. He has a big arm. And so I think he is really kind of like the prototypical wanted quarterback right now. And so I think he has a lot of potential and athleticism that could really help a team.
That's a good answer. Yeah,
That was
a
really
fantastic
that was
answer.
phenomenal,
good. That
and
was good.
good job dodging my
Let-
controversial question.
First of all, that was not a dodge. He answered your question.
He
not
gave
a
you
dodging.
NFL frame.
Second
Good
of
job
all,
answering it
Have
diplomatically.
you seen the TikToks of my man, how he eats bananas, the way he eats a banana,
Yeah.
and the mayonnaise in coffee?
I have.
And can you do either?
And your thoughts.
Honestly, see, I don't know him. And I wish him the best on draft night, whatever it may be. But I don't believe it. I just, there's no way. Because then it's like, well, how did you get to that? Like, what made you do that in the first place?
So you think
And
he's
then-
trolling us all with that?
maybe like a marketing thing. Maybe get some attention in there.
It worked.
Do something. I was about to say it worked.
Mm.
You know, if a high level quarterback is doing something crazy, everybody's gonna know what it is. And so it's just so hard to believe that you do that. That's just crazy.
So you've never just picked up a banana and said, screw it, I'm not going to peel it. I'm just eating this thing. You've never crossed your mind, really?
I don't even know how clean that is. Like, you know,
It's not.
I don't know how many hands have
It's
touched
not.
that banana. Like, I don't know.
It's not. Yeah, it's not clean. So for those who didn't see, my man eats his banana sideways with the banana peel still on there, and he puts Dukes in his coffee,
Yeah.
which is
Vile.
insane.
Mm-hmm.
People
don't-
do butter. What's that? There's a name for that kind of coffee.
Disgusting.
Not from
That's the
around
name
here.
for that kind of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do it sometimes.
I've never seen anybody put butter in coffee.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I've heard of it. I
Yeah.
think that's overseas or something though.
It's here.
Yeah.
It's here?
It's trickling into.
So we got to
Incredible.
trickle it out of here is what we
Yeah.
got to do.
What's
Butter?
that? I don't know. I've never had, or I don't drink coffee. I don't eat mayonnaise, but I know they don't go together. That I do know.
It's the bulletproof, is what it's called.
The bulletproof.
Especially like you take it like
This
I don't
is
know.
the butter, not mayo.
The
right?
butter.
Okay,
When
yeah,
I eat
okay.
butter in anything, I don't like feel empowered after. You know,
No,
after
I
do
don't
it, but supposedly it's like, oh, you like gives you this energy. Or something.
Butter makes you want to take a nap after
Yeah.
I eat a lot of butter on some stuff because
Definitely.
I love me some butter.
Ask Boogie, ask the nutritionist if they can hook up some
yeah.
bulletproof
brand
coffee
new
for you.
Bulletproof coffee.
Go to your brand new nutrition. Say, I want to do some butter in my coffee. Matter of fact, butter gives me power.
Yeah.
So I just want to like carry around, some containers of butter.
Yeah.
You gonna be okay with that?
To drop them in.
All right, final segment coming up with Boogie Huntley with Wes and Chris on the Garnet Trust Hour. And then the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour coming up at 11 right here on 107.5 The Game. Gave us one of the best answers ever on Will Levis is hanging around as Chris Clark tried to pin him with one of those questions. It was going to go viral. Boogie did a nice job. Nice job with that answer. Have you had like a media specialist train you? That was a trained media specialist answer, my friend.
The most I can say is my mom.
Yeah.
She would always, if I ever needed help, she'd always help me. If she ever like knew something or read about something, she'd always relay the info. So if I'm ever good at anything in the media, on air, everything, look to my mom.
Go to
'cause
mom.
She did it. Yeah.
Shout out, Lisa.
Yeah,
I'm
shout
sure
out-
she's listening.
Shout out my mom for real. Yeah, definitely.
She's the best.
She is.
So I wanted to ask you, we were talking a little bit of nutrition earlier, but somewhat new hire, at least new to us. I think Yemi had already kind of been around the program. Y'all guys have gotten to know him. So Yemi Cuepa Rodriguez, new nutritionist at South Carolina. Boogie, anytime there's a transition, a new person comes in, I'm sure there's kind of that filling out process. But what can you tell us and tell the fans about Yemi and kind of his approach to nutrition with the team?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, honestly. I love everything he has said to us. I love like his nutritional beliefs, what he thinks we should do. I agree with because we had a meeting yesterday, I think it was yesterday, and it was a rather long meeting. Like me and him just talking about what my plans are, what I should be doing, what he thinks I shouldn't be, and there wasn't one thing he said the whole time where I was like, well, my body or I don't like. No, I'm telling you, everything he said, I have like previously wanted to do or supported, and so I'm super excited about this guy. I think he has huge plans, and I'm really really excited to keep working with him.
So that was a one-on-one, just
Yes,
two of you
sir.
kind of sitting down.
Yes, sir.
What are maybe some of the details of his approach that
Mm-hmm.
you kind of have noticed so far?
Yeah, well, I know everybody's body is so different. Some people work off certain things better than others do, and I think with him, our big goal that I told him is body composition.
Mhm.
My weight's good, everything's good. It's just I want to keep toning in my body. I want to keep building muscle, losing fat. And so, he kind of gave me just he just sent it to me this morning. He just texted me like a great plan to do it, how many times I need to be eating, like probably eat around 6 times a day, high protein, high protein, all these great things. And I loved it all, just teaching me more about foods, teaching me about what am I eating, plate size, serving sizes. And he was telling me he kind of likes to do things that are by hand or like serving sizes, just so it's easier for us. We don't have to pull out our phone and be like, how much is one chicken?
Yeah.
So it just makes everything a lot easier. And with things being when you know things, it's easier to do things. You know the purpose, why you're doing it, what's this going to help me with, and so that's what he's kind of showing me and going to show the whole team. And so I'm a huge fan.
What does a typical day of meals look like for you? Are you eating something? Is there anything in there that tastes good, or are you all just like? Can you find that balance between getting the I guess you call it the macros that you need versus getting some taste in there as well?
No, see, the thing is, I love protein. I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's like, well, some foods are good, but like in high school, a bunch of my buddies like Bradley Dunn, Jordan, a couple other guys, they would call me Big Pro because like a lot of meals, it would be 100% focused on protein. Like Coach Kimry, he taught a class there. In every class, like he'd say snack time because he'd hear my little protein bar and muscle milk opening. And so I love, like, if I know I'm about to get my protein in, I love it. Like I'm just gonna like the meal. And then there's other meals like chicken, rice, broccoli. That tastes good to me. It can be as long as it's seasoned the way it should be. I don't really need any sauces. I can go chicken, rice, broccoli, scarf it down, had a healthy, good meal. I'm good.
What class did you have with Kimry?
He taught philosophy and
Of course.
yeah, he taught. It was called philosophy and I forgot.
Philosophy of religion, wasn't it?
Philosophy of religion.
I think that's what it was.
Yep.
That had to be fascinating.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was first class with Coach Kimry, so it was definitely interesting.
That is right in his wheelhouse.
It was a good class.
So one of his sayings, this is actually a question real quick from the Insiders Forum on GamecockCentral.com from our buddy Michael Beckham. He actually mentioned Kimry. He loves to say struggle well. He says that all the time. What does that mean to you on and off the field?
Yeah, well, struggle well. It's funny because that's actually Coach Day saying.
Yeah, he says that all the time.
When Coach Day got here, it was a crazy connection, like how both of those two didn't know each other but have the same one. But struggle well is just embracing the struggle. I didn't want to say that embracing the suck, but how much, how sometimes it's gonna be hard, but it's how well do you struggle. If you're football, you're in the middle of camp's beating you up, you're tired, you're maybe even a little sick, mentally you're drained. How well are you gonna be at that point? How can you keep going and do it well? It's gonna be hard. Nothing in life comes easy. So if you want something big in life, if you have these aspirations, big goals, then you're gonna have to struggle. So how well are you gonna struggle, and how well are you gonna do that?
Yeah, some Coach Day says all the time too. Don't get tired of doing the right thing, or doing
Don't
the
get
right
tired
things.
of doing what's right.
Yep.
Coach Day had y'all digging some ditches or something.
He did.
What was that?
So we had, like if you're going to wash a car, you got those buckets where you put the soap in. So you had those buckets filled to the very top with water, and you had a lid on it. And they were about 5 feet in the ground. And so they had like a whole professional crew dig out these holes, put the buckets in the ground, and then fill the holes back up, wait a couple days. So it was offense versus defense, but you had a partner. I had Emery Floyd. And so it was a partner who you didn't pick. It was like a kind of just to even it up. And so you had a pick and you had a shovel. The pick, see, personally, I think it was there for show because the pick, you
wasn't doing much.
Yeah, don't use the pick. And so you were just shoveling, digging. You had to get that. And yeah, I'm sure there's pictures, videos. Like some people were holding by the legs, got to try and reach it, pick it up. You're all dirty, sweaty. And then once you get it, you and your partner have to carry that same bucket of water all the way to the stadium. And then from there, and this was behind the stadium, there's a little parking or a little like dirt lot behind the
Practice facility?
indoor. Yeah, behind the practice facility. So you have to walk that all the way to the stadium, walk up the first ramp, across the stadium, down the second ramp, and then across the stadium again to where we finish up near the players' locker room, near the entrance where we run out at. And that is one of the hardest, like the action of doing the up the ramp, down the ramp, all that. It is long. It is tiring, but defense won. So obviously we it worked. It was fun, but it was an experience for sure.
How does he come up with this stuff?
That I think with a lot of workouts, that's something that we all ask ourselves. The same thing. I think we always say, like, how does he come up with this? Like, we have a joke, some of us with some other guys, like, I feel like y'all went to bed last night and said, let's just mess with him. Because some stuff, we're just sitting there like, what? This is crazy, but, they're good.
So was that workout this year's equivalent of when they took y'all out to the middle of nowhere
Yes, sir.
just dropped y'all off?
Yes, sir, yeah. It
Grit,
was
grit day?
Grit night.
Grit night?
Grit night, yeah. And the thing is, grit night, as much as it is like gritty and hard, it's also fun. I mean, you're doing these crazy workouts, but you're competing with your brother against, your other brothers. The thing is, it's offense versus defense. You're really competing. It's fun, and you're doing these crazy things you never would have thought you'd do, but you're doing it. You're learning. You're making these memories. And one thing Coach Day did say is, like, when you're walking that Gamecock walk, you're going to remember holding these buckets, dirt, sweat, covered. You're going to remember because we walked that same walk, and I definitely will.
All right. Time is up. Man, this was a cool hour. You can stay more hours if you want. We're going to hook you up here. Radio's so lucrative. Well, pay them by the hour, and you might get enough to get gas money to go home.
Yeah.
But, Boogie, thanks for hanging with us in the Garnet Trust Hour. Seriously, we enjoyed it. Wes, Chris, will come back in here. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour at rolls up until noon. Halftime show will be out of Columbia Craft, by the way. Talking about our craft beer passport. 38 craft beers for $99. We'll talk more about that at noon with Jay and myself. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour coming up next here on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.